So as we talked about last night, it's over for Chuck Schumer because now Nancy Pelosi has come out against him. Here is AOC doubling down once again on her message about the bill.
We have time to correct course on this decision. Senate Democrats can vote no. We can correct course. To see Senate Democrats even consider acquiescing to Elon Musk, I think it is a huge slap in the face, and I think that there is a wide sense of betrayal.
Now, adding more fuel to this fire is what President Trump did this morning, because he came out publicly and thanked Chuck Schumer. He said this: "Congratulations to Chuck Schumer for doing the right thing, took guts and courage. The big tax cuts, LA fire fix, debt ceiling billing, and so much more is coming. We should all work together on that very dangerous situation. A non-pass would be a country destroyer. Approval will lead us to new heights." Again, really good and smart move by Senator Schumer. This could lead to something big for the USA and a whole new direction and beginning. DJT. Guys, this is driving Democrats insane. When you got the president coming out and thanking a Democrat, not just any Democrat, but the leader of the Democratic Party, all hell is breaking loose.
Congresswoman, only a few moments ago on Truth Social, President Trump praised Senator Schumer for having the, quote, guts to do the right thing, calling his support of the spending bill a smart move. How will that sit, you think, with House Democrats?
Well, again, I don't think we should be moving in any way to elicit praise from Donald Trump, who has no respect for Congress and the power of the purse, who is by the hour rolling out proposals and executive actions that are lawless and that are callous. We do not want to be praised by Donald Trump. This is a hostile government takeover. He is a dictator. And what do you meet a dictator with? Defiance. The Democrats can't only be the adults in the room. We have to be the fighters too. And that is the message that we are hearing every day from our constituents and what they want to see from us in this moment. We have to be exhaustive and leveraging every tool available in their defense.
So that was Congresswoman Presley. She clearly did not like the question. It's understandable. They hate President Trump. And if he's congratulating Chuck Schumer, they're just going to lose it every single time. Now, we already know he's in hot water, which is why Nancy Pelosi came out and she congratulated Hakeem Jeffries and did not congratulate Chuck Schumer. In fact, she opposes his leadership and directs Senate Democrats to listen to the women. Donald Trump and Elon Musk have offered the Congress a false choice between a government shutdown or a blank check that makes a devastating assault on the well-being of working families across America. Let me just pause. The problem when they speak this way is they have no receipts to back up that statement. Let me just get to the bottom line here. She says, "I salute leader Hakeem Jeffries for his courageous rejection of this false choice. And I'm proud of my colleagues in the House Democratic Caucus for their overwhelming vote against this bill." And here is the message where she opposes Schumer. "Democrat senators should listen to the women. Appropriation leaders Rosa DeLauro and Patty Murray have eloquently presented the case that we must have a better choice, a full-week funding extension to keep government open and negotiate a bipartisan agreement. America has experienced a Trump shutdown before, but this damaging legislation only makes matters worse. Democrats must not buy into this false choice. We must fight back for a better way. Listen to the women for the people." Now, it's not just on Capitol Hill, but it's also bleeded into other left-leaning media spaces. Here is Charlemagne calling for all Democrats to be removed.
The party of inaction, the Democrats have failed to protect the interests of the American people. And you know why, Dems suck at messaging? Because they never talking about nothing and they do nothing. So guess what? To me, they all got to go. Like Dems don't just have a messaging problem. They got a leadership problem. The Chuck Schumers of the world, the Hakeem Jeffries, they should all step down. And any Dem who isn't fighting for the people and standing with the party should be primaried. Like, how can you say the bill sucks, but you're passing it anyway? Like, you're not going to even try to, present something different, right? Try to negotiate nothing. It sucks, but we're going to pass it anyway.
And clearly when Democrats are speaking this way about fighting back, they seem to blur the lines of what do you mean exactly by fighting back? Because we continue to see protests getting out of hand. We had the individual arrested by the Department of Justice for vandalizing Elon Musk's Tesla dealership and setting Cybertrucks on fire. So are you guys sure you want to use that language? This is why Maxine Waters is now catching heat for these comments.
I'm worried that Trump is on the edge of creating a civil war. He alluded to it more than once. He alluded to the fact that if he did not get reelected, that there could be a civil war. Now, this president is putting us in a position where hungry people are going to be on the street, where nonprofits who were waiting for their checks are not going to get them. When that happens, what does Trump expect? Oh, I believe he expects violence. I believe he expects confrontation. I believe he's working toward a civil war. We're not going to get goaded. We're not going to get tricked into that. We're going to continue to do our work.
So what they don't understand is when you keep telling your base that President Trump is Hitler, that he is destroying the Constitution, that he's going to end this country as we know it, and that he's going to cause civil war, what do you think people are going to do that don't have their faculties in order, right? Like they are emotionally unstable. They are going to get physical. They are going to get violent because they don't believe there is any other choice, especially when they continue to see how Democrats and the leadership, they're just in disarray. And Scott Jennings on CNN last night, he made the same point. Let's take a look.
But I don't know. It seems to me pretty clear at the end there. She said, we're not going to go into that territory. So.
Why bring it up? I mean, she's hardly the first Democrat to bring it up. Hakeem Jeffries said earlier this year, we're going to fight in the streets. Anna Presley, Jasmine Crockett, other members of the Democratic conference have continuously alluded to violence because they're so angry about the Trump agenda.
I think it's unfair to say that they're alluding to violence. When Jeffries was saying that, he was talking about going to the streets in protest.
He said
which
fight
is
in the streets.
It's a political fight.
That's clearly not the context
you can
of what
defend
he
it,
said.
But if Trump uses the word fight, everyone loses their mind.
Exactly. It's a double standard. President Trump says something like this. Literally, people are going to lose their minds. They're going to become scared. And they're going to go to the extremes in their reactions, of course. And what's interesting is when you have people who are known to be never Trumpers actually pushing back on this violent narrative, you know you've gone too far. Here's Alyssa Griffin on The View saying, hey, guys, we should tone it down a bit.
Country is bigger than who's president for 4 years. I just think it's important people remember. There are places I wouldn't be able to get IVF treatments in Europe. Like we put a lot, and love my European friends, but we put everyone else on kind of this pedestal and act like America is so backward and broken. It's not. Well, I think this is still the greatest nation on earth.
It's a pretty young democracy that doesn't seem to be working right now. And so I do think
I believe more in America than Donald Trump's ability to ruin it.
It doesn't seem to be working for everyone.
So I wanted to show you that clip because that in lies the problem of Democrats and really the fundamental difference between people who lean right versus people who are progressives. Progressives literally believe that the country will end because President Trump is the president. And they forget he's only going to be the president for 4 years. And I know they're going to say he's going to try to stay in power. He left the White House last time, people, okay? But again, when you're so emotionally charged, because the leaders of the party is coming out and starting to get more violent with their language, this is just going to continue to increase. And sooner or later, there's going to be a breaking point. And I suppose that's why the Attorney General Pam Bondi made an appearance on Fox Business this morning to talk about these protesters that have been vandalizing Tesla equipment and dealerships and cyber trucks, not to mention the Democrat-funded organizations who are behind these protests. Here's what she said.
Look what they're continuing to do, as I said, to Elon Musk. They are targeting Tesla dealerships, the stations where you charge a Tesla. They're vandalizing cars. I have already directed an investigation be opened to see how is this being funded, who is behind this, doing this. We have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you. Wow. And if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
So what I already find interesting is, number one, Democrats will actually come out and push back by saying you guys are weaponizing the DOJ against peaceful protesters, right? But number two, they are very vocal in fighting against President Trump and Elon Musk, but silent when it comes to these pro-Hamas protesters, which leads me to this clip.
But they all had the same T-shirts. They all had the same signs. They all had the same plan. That takes organization, Katie.
And they happen to always be in the middle of the workday. So, yes, it takes organization. There are actually a number of hostage families that have sued nonprofits in the United States for for allegedly organizing protests like this and have alleged that there are connections to overseas funding for groups like this. Clearly, there's a money trail. Clearly, there are organizers who are behind these mass protests that continue to pop up at Trump Tower on college campuses. And that's exactly what you're seeing with the Trump administration going after the organizer of the violent Columbia University protests, because they're looking at who they're affiliated with, what the money looks like, and saying, we don't want this to be happening anymore. And they've gotten completely out of control with breaking the law. I mean, this is trespassing. And this is just one of many examples that you're seeing all across the country.
And guys, it starts at the top. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he doesn't even have a handle on his own party. They're coming against him. When you have Nancy Pelosi coming out publicly and opposing your way of doing things, you're in trouble.
I mean, I said it on 5 Things this morning. I think what we're looking at with Chuck Schumer is like maybe the perfect political definition of stuck between a rock and a hard place in terms of what he had. I mean, what shifted for him is kind of in, the span of less than 24 hours is my question today.
We don't know. Maybe it was Christian Gillibrand yelling at Democrats behind closed doors so loud that reporters could hear. I don't know. But yeah, Democrats are stuck between a rock and a hard place. It is shocking how Democrats have not figured out what is coming down the pike. It is March. You know the spending fight is coming, and you know Republicans have a majority. I don't understand. For all the chaos on the right, Democrats are a mess. They haven't figured out. It's not how they're going to fight Donald Trump yet. They haven't even figured out if they're going to fight Donald Trump's agenda. They've got to get it together and get on the same page and figure out a roadmap going forward, because the chaos is going to be daily. There's going to be incoming for months, and they are not on the same page at all. That's clear.
So in this Democratic Party, we have failed leadership, no unified message, rhetoric has become more violent and hyperbolic. The base is responding to that with these different acts of violence, especially targeted towards Elon Musk. Corruption is continuing to be exposed with Act Blue. We hope Pam Bondi actually does her job on that. And this is not a good look for our country overall. So hopefully they get it together in some respects. And I'm talking about the violence part. Stop vandalizing and terrorizing businesses because you hate Elon Musk, you hate Trump, and you support Hamas. That just is not going to work. Now, here's what the White House press secretary had to say about all of this, because this is a huge win for Trump.
Well, the president thanked Chuck Schumer publicly this morning, and I think the Democrats last week were gambling that President Trump couldn't secure the votes, and they learned don't bet against Donald Trump. President Trump and Speaker Johnson did a tremendous job getting this continuing resolution across the finish line in the House, and now we expect everyone in the Senate to get on board. This is a good, clean, fair CR for the American people to keep the federal government business open and operating, so we can pass a balanced budget and a good budget reconciliation package later this year. And so we're pleased with Chuck Schumer, and we hope every Democrat will get on board and do what's right for the American public.
Yep, that's exactly what you would expect your White House press secretary to say, just kind of regurgitate exactly what Trump said this morning. And again, this is going to continue to irk Democrats, no question. Now, in this next clip, this is just for your pure entertainment and enjoyment. This is Lawrence O'Donnell. Last night, he almost comes to tears because of how exhausted he is from covering Trump in these first 52 days.
It's time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
Good evening, Rachel. And I know you've pledged to cover and be here for the first 100 days of the Trump presidency. I hope you noticed that I did not make that same pledge when you did.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
Well, here's the thing. This is day 52. I thought it was day 92. It turns out it's day 52, Rachel, and I'm exhausted at day 52. And so I'm going to take next week off. And I'm telling you that now because I know you don't like it when I just drift away, and I don't. But just taking next week off. Then I can come back and go with you all the way to the 100 days.
I don't think there's anything I should add to that clip. I think it speaks for itself. This is how demoralized the entire party is, from Chuck Schumer all the way to MSDNC, and we're here for every step of that along the way. Now, here's my question for you in the comments section. Do you see the same thing? Do you see how their violent rhetoric is actually turning into true violence on the ground, especially as it pertains to these protests against Elon Musk and Tesla? But they're silent when it comes to the pro-Hamas protests that have definitely damaged universities and local businesses. Let me know what you think about all that in the comment section below. Now, I started this video off by showing you how the president trolled Chuck Schumer this morning, which continued to irk Democrats. But it was late last night that Chuck Schumer came out publicly and made his excuses known on why he was going to vote for this Republican bill to fund the government. And if you missed out on that in the initial backlash, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.